What's up guys, today I'm going to talk you through my most anticipated video games of 2020. There's a few of them, so let's get straight into it with Cyberpunk 2077. This is the next game from CD Projekt Red, the makers of The Witcher 3. So The Witcher 3, one of my favourite games of all time. Brilliant game. Yeah, it doesn't quite hold up anymore in certain regards, particularly the combat. That's not to say that the combat's bad, it's just not the best part of that game. But this game, it looks like it's going to be a full feature-length, I say feature-length, I don't know why I said that, but a full RPG, first-person shooter mechanics, a lot of talking, a lot of numbers where you've got stats and skill points and all that, a lot of unique skills and abilities. Looking at the footage of this game that's been released so far, this looks like a game on the next level. It has to be the most anticipated game this year across the board for most people. But it's cyberpunk, it's science fiction, a huge imaginative world based on various cyberpunk properties, particularly the board game, but there's clear Neuromancer influences, Neuromancer a book series. I can't wait for this. CD Projekt Red makes good games, particularly with The Witcher 3. This is the evolution of that. Hopefully it holds up. Mysteriously, the game comes out in like a couple of months and no one's had their hands on with the game yet, which is worrisome because this is their first attempt at a first-person shooter, so how it feels in the controls is important, and I'm a little concerned that maybe it's not quite there. I've heard talks about the vehicles in the game not being great, but yeah, other than that, we don't really know how the game feels and how the game plays, so hopefully we get some of that. I believe they've done something similar with The Witcher 3, and well, that got great reviews when it came out, so maybe there's no need to be worried about that just yet. But yeah, Cyberpunk 2077, one of my most anticipated games in a long time. Resident Evil 3 Remake. So Resident Evil 3, a sequel to Resident Evil 2, obviously, but they obviously remade Resident Evil 2 in 2019. My opinion, the game of the year. Brilliant game across the board. Giving it a third-person perspective, increasing the horror, changing certain things here and there, streamlining the story. Great remake, something that I think a lot of future video game remakes are going to look at and think, right, this is how you do a remake. So Resident Evil 3 is going to do the same thing with Resident Evil 3. Now, one of the things I'm concerned with is that of the core Resident Evil franchise, 1 to 7, of the initial 4 games, Resident Evil 3 is the worst. It's not a bad game, by any means, but of the first 4 Resident Evil games, it is noticeably not the best. So how are they going to treat that? I'm a little concerned that maybe I'm going to pick this game up and I'm just not going to like it as much as Resident Evil 2. It has got Nemesis in there. It looks like they are going to be treating Nemesis the same way that they treated the Tyrant, in Resident Evil 2. So that's cool. Nemesis, of course, a bit more aggressive than the Tyrant in that he has like a rocket launcher and all sorts. But yeah, you play as Jill Valentine, they've redesigned certain characters. You now play as Carlos, they are adding certain elements to the game to expand on his role, it seems. Graphically, it uses the RA7 engine, so that's great. It's a gorgeous game. It's also going to have the multiplayer element that was initially going to be a separate game, but now as part of this, RE Resistance or Project Resistance or whatever it's called. I'm not so interested in that, to be honest. It looks like a Friday the 13th, Left 4 Dead kind of thing. But yeah, it looks interesting if you're into that sort of thing. It's just not for me. I'm in it for the story and the mood and the tones and the horror. But Resident Evil 3 could be good. I am a little concerned in certain areas though. And that mainly that I don't think I'm going to like it as much as Resident Evil 2 because I didn't like the original Resident Evil 3 as much as Resident Evil 2. But yeah, it looks good from what we've seen so far, which isn't much. Ghost of Tsushima. This is another game which we haven't seen too much from. We've seen a few trailers with CGI footage and so on, giving us much more of like a tone and mood and feel of the game, and like thematically, like this is about like samurai and ninja stuff in like, I think it's believed in the Mongol invasion in that period of time. I don't know too much about that history, but we have seen one footage, like extended trailer of gameplay. It looks cool, it looks really grounded and visceral. The combat looks really realistic and violent and aggressive. It looks like a mix between like, let's say Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Batman Arkham, which is cool. It also looks like it's got bits of like Assassin's Creed Odyssey in there. The footage that we have seen is from a side mission apparently, so hopefully that means that we're going to get some big, expansive, story-driven missions throughout this game. There's a lot of potential here. I'm curious as to why we haven't seen more of the actual gameplay yet, especially when it comes out this year. We don't have a firm release date yet, except that it's coming out in this summer, I believe. So yeah, we need to see more of this game to get really hyped up for it, but I am anticipating it. I do think that this is going to be one of the games that comes out on PS4 and will also be on PS5 when that's released this year. But so far, everything I've seen does look good. I just want to see more. Final game comes out in a couple of months. It's The Last of Us Part 2. So The Last of Us, a brilliant game, plain and simple. The sequel, maybe we didn't need a sequel. Who cares, we're getting it. Ellie's now older. It looks like she's going out there on some sort of revenge mission. We don't know too much about the story. It's all like theoretical and trying to pinpoint things together, and a lot of theories going out there. So I'm not going to go into that. But the story, the characters are the core element of the story for me. Seeing what Ellie's up to, seeing what Joel's up to, get them back together, get their relationship going again. It looks like maybe they're not quite as friendly as they were in the first game. Obviously, the ending of the first game has to play into this somehow. That's probably going to be driving the wedge between them. Does Ellie know about that? Does she just have suspicions about that heading into this? Or is this something that she's going to discover in this game? Either way, I can't wait to see what happens with these characters. The gameplay that we're seeing looks awesome. The fact that they got like new dodge mechanics, the combat looks grisly and grounded and realistic and violent and gory in places. Yeah, it looks really cool. And obviously this is not going to be a game for everyone. It's got like the clickers in there, it's got the horror element, it's very heavy, let's say. So I can't wait. It's a Naughty Dog game. They make good games in general. They're not always games that hold up incredibly well, but they do make good games. I liked the mechanics of the first game. Hopefully they're expanding on them in this one. I like the story of the first game. I've got a feeling the story is not going to live up to the events of the first game. But that's okay. As long as it's a good story, it looks like it's going to be good. There are a lot of rumours about it. There seems to be some sort of flashback element in there as well, maybe. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Last of Us Part 2 looks great from what we've seen. And those are my most anticipated video games of 2020. Let me know in the comments and feedback down below what your most anticipated games of 2020 are. And of course follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @the_GrabBurton if you want. Most importantly, subscribe to my channel. The more subscribers I get, the more content like this I can make. And until next time, thanks for watching.